This is Jeff Losawyer with Voodoo Moonshine,
And Eddie Cruz with Voodoo Moonshine.
and you're watching Channa 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 podcast.
Channa 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 podcast. It's rocking.
Yep.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of my podcast. We have special guest today joining all the way from Florida. We have members of Voodoo Moonshine. Hi guys.
How you doing?
How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Good. Worked hard today on music and stuff, so we're happy.
So guys, how is the situation over there with all this pandemic and COVID and everything?
Oh yeah, the scamdemic. Pretty much it's in Florida, we're free. And we got a great governor who's taking care of us and protecting us from Washington, D.C. But there's other states like us, and we're doing really good here. I mean, our unemployment rate is low. People can't even hire enough people for businesses right now. They need more people. So
Right.
it's doing really well there. There's other northern states, some other states, New York, California, and Illinois and stuff. Those are all pretty much, under lock and key. So. But we're doing great down here. We're getting ready to start visiting some other free states like Tennessee and Ohio and a few other places for some some shows coming up in the future here.
Yeah.
So basically, the live shows are happening in Florida, right?
Yeah, yeah. Cover bands are playing. National bands are starting to organize. The festivals are coming. We got a big one here in town coming up, Rockville, which is next fall. So I mean, they're coming.
Right.
They're making plans. I know my production friends are making plans and doing all kinds of contracts right now. So things are moving.
Pretty cool. Because we've been in a lockdown for almost a year now, more than a year already. But we haven't achieved anything. I think we are kind of going back. We are basically in the same state as we were in early 2020. So it's
they tell us that over in London too. The same thing.
Yeah. So guys, can you introduce yourself and tell me what you do in the band?
Well, my name is Eddie Cruz, and I'm the drummer. And I sing backup vocals. And
I'm Jeff Losawyer. I play guitar.
Hi.
He's the head guy.
He doesn't speak a lot. Jeff, how are you?
Well, that's right now. I'm beat. I came in from Georgia yesterday, and so we could cram on some rehearsals and take care of some business. And then I leave again tomorrow. But I came in so we could rehearse, and I'm tired.
Yeah, it's been a lot of work and not much sleep. So
Right.
trying to get a lot done in a short period of time here.
Yeah. Our nearest show is in May with Saliva. So we'll have these rehearsals, and I'll come back down one or two more times in April, and then we'll go do the shows.
Right. So Jeff, this Voodoo Moonshine was actually, you started it like early 2000s, right? So
Yeah.
can you tell me a little bit about your sort of musical background, early background and about the starting the band?
Oh man, I started way back when I was 14, and started getting busy pretty quick. I got kind of thrown into it real early. Me and our original Voodoo Moonshine singer, we got together in like 1988, and we had gotten a deal out in LA in '89, and that didn't work out. Nothing ever works out in LA. So I left and basically got in a vehicle in my van, loaded up my stuff in a van, and I didn't want to go back to LA, so I went towards Tennessee and broke down through Arkansas and ended up in Tennessee. And I thought, well, hell, I guess I'm going to just stay here. And I took a break for, I guess, a good 6 years after that, and got thrown back into the business and started playing, and met up with my old singer again from out in LA, and we started up Voodoo Moonshine. I had been writing for a couple of years, and we started it up. So he was my singer for about 20 years before he retired.
Right. So Eddie, what's your background? What's your like earliest memories of like music?
Well, I was pretty much when I was about 4 years old, I knew I wanted to play the drums, and no one would let me. They're like, here's a bugle. I'm like, no, I want to play drums, right? And I'm like, and my family, like my parents were like, no way, you're not gonna do it, and blah 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 blah. So no one really believed that I would do it. And then when I was about 12, I was hanging out with some friends who were in the band, and I said, hey, can I sit down and play the drums once? And so I sat down and just started playing songs. And they're like, I didn't know you could play. I'm like, well, me neither. And I just kept playing. I just play another song. And then after that, I was addicted. Once I played with some guys, and it was over for me. It's all I could see was rock and roll after that.
Right.
And, so basically, I wound up in a bunch of bands out of Chicago. We did a bunch of original bands and stuff like that. And I wound up on the road and pretty much did a lot of road work across the country. Wound up in Florida and had a kid down here, decided to raise my kid and kind of stay put for a while. But then, I did a good job doing that. And then it was time to start playing again. And Jeff contacted me about 2 years ago, year and a half, 2 years ago, and started sending me songs. I'm like, well, these are pretty cool songs. And he kept sending me more songs, and the singer was great. And I'm like, you know what? Okay, let's do this again, So a lot of road work. I've had a lot of miles under my feet, my whole life.
Right. Right.
So,
Eddie, who do you look up to as a drummer?
drummers? Well, there's so many, honestly, man. There's just so many good people out there. I can't say, I guess when I grew up as a kid, when I was like, 10, 12, 11 years old, whatever, John Bonham was the guy for me back then. Led Zeppelin was huge. And so Bonham was like my mentor basically when I was a kid, when I started. I played everything that he did. And so he was like probably my biggest influence as a child. But now it's like, I like them all, man. I mean, if it sounds good, I like it. You know what I mean? So I don't really have any in particular person right now that's like my favorite. I kind of like everybody. Yeah.
Some of the best musicians are unheard of.
Yeah.
You don't know who they are. They're guys that go to a regular job and they're not out here. They're just playing. So I mean, of course, with me it was your typical Randy Rhoads, and Jakey Lee, and of course old Van Halen, the typical stuff.
Right. Yeah.
I went to a Neil Peart stage for a little while there too. That was too much work. That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I could start setting all that stuff
So
up.
is Randy Rhoads.
Oh my God.
Jakey Lee.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna downsize.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Jeff, I agree with you. Like, I mean, what you sort of see as the music industry is not actually the music industry. There's a whole lot of other bands and a big industry below that, right? The day-to-day musicians who actually bring, because all these things, all the big concerts and things fail because of the pandemic, for example, but the industry keeps on going because you guys are still making music, you guys putting it out. So there is another industry, right, that you don't really see in the media.
Yeah.
No, you sure
Right.
don't. And honestly, the music industry, production and concerts and festivals, they got hit harder than anybody else.
Right.
Anybody else. I mean, I've known people in production that hasn't worked in a year, still, and it's just like, I don't know why they're targeted. Our in our industry is targeted like it is. I guess because we play to crowds, but
Well, we were listed as the #1 non-essential.
yeah, we're
employees in the
non-essential.
world.
Yeah, #1 non-essential. What they're listed.
Entertainers and entertainment business.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see that. I really don't agree with that, because if there's no music, if there's no art, what the purpose of living, right?
Yeah, but those guys, those lawmakers, they They don't know
Look,
art from
yeah,
the mass.
they're politicians and they're acting like doctors.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so I mean, there's a bit, I don't want to get too deep into negative aspects. I mean, we could talk a lot about this. I don't want to go too deep into. I don't want to go into a rabbit's hole. Okay. So, but basically, the majority of politicians are idiots.
Yeah.
They
I'll
can't
take it.
screw in a light bulb as far as I'm concerned.
Right. So Jeff, so the first album was released in 2005, and you actually had a lot of success with that album, right? You traveled, I mean, you toured in England, Japan, and all these other countries, in Ireland, right? Can you tell me a little bit about that era?
He's all over the place, all
Yeah,
over the world.
it did really well, man. We weren't expecting it. It wasn't, when we did the album, it wasn't even really planned. I flew in and did a demo with my singer at the time for a record label in Texas. And so I flew up to Minnesota, recorded it, and flew back to Memphis, sent it to the record label. They're like, "This is great, but it's 4 songs. What the hell are we going to do with that?" So I got everybody together. We did the CD and put it out, and it just ended up selling and doing good, and more stuff kept happening. And next thing you know, we were getting offers and distribution and tours and it was nothing was planned. It was not expected. It was just some songs that we wrote and put together. So we've had more luck with stuff like that. The stuff that seems like a fluke that doesn't, that's not intended and that's not forced anymore. Which is the same approach we're taking with this CD. Everything that's happening now is just kind of falling into place. Obviously, we guide it, but
The only good thing about COVID for us was with everything shut down, we were able to get a lot of stuff done. He worked his butt off on all this, the videos and all getting the album done, and I mean, there's so much involved. So
the business end, which is where a lot of bands don't. That's secondary.
That's where they don't thrive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's secondary. And luckily, when the COVID stuff hit, we were kind of ahead of the game with the CD. I had already finished it years ago. Pedro was redoing the vocals. We were getting business in order. But just like the first CD, a lot of good things are happening. So with everything that comes in our lap, we just kind of keep going with it, seeing how further we can go with all our opportunities.
Right. So with the first album, after that, you sort of took a break for some time, and then when did the new lineup, the idea came to restart the band, and how did the new lineup come together?
Well, yeah, the CD did well. The first CD did well, and I guess we were busy for about 3 or 4 years. And so in 2009, my grandmother had got ill. So I went back to Oklahoma. I took a break. She got ill and passed away. And I had, at that same time, within about a 3-period month, I lost, I think, like 5 people in my life. And even the original bass player for Voodoo Moonshine died. So I took a break and did a solo album, which was basically funeral songs. There were songs I wrote to play it. I had a girlfriend die, so I'd written these songs for the funeral. I put out a CD, well, I didn't mean to. I did these songs for a funeral, and my manager at the time said, well, if this label wants to put it out, I said, well, we can put it out, if all the proceeds go to the Cancer Society, I'll do it. So that's how I'm starting to write more. And then after going over the, 2 years, I think I took off and stayed back home in Oklahoma. I was writing. And that's when I started writing this CD. This CD, I started it in 2011. And talking about being lazy, man. I mean, I had other guys then. So I was in Oklahoma for 2 years writing, and I called the guys in Memphis and said, I'm going to be coming back, so let's get ready, and we're going to record. And then I sat on it again. I finished it. I thought I was finished with it, and I just kind of tucked it away. I didn't care. I didn't put it out. I didn't care what happened to it, you know. And about 2.5 years ago, I had gotten a message on Facebook from a guy that was claiming to be, appeared to be Molly Cruz's old manager. And I'm like, man, this is Facebook. This is nonsense. This guy's bullshit, you know. So, and I looked in further, and it was him. And he didn't want nothing. He just left a voice message saying, man, I really like you guys. You know, good luck and, you know, protect yourself in the business.
Mm.
And I'm like, well, that's odd. And then not 2 weeks later, Steve Thompson message, and I'm like, who the hell is that? That name sounds familiar. And I looked, and I'm like, oh, he had engineered Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction, I think 4 or 5 of the Tesla CDs, and he was wanting to produce it. And I'm like, well, I guess I got to get a band together again, you know, because like I said, I had stopped. I thought I was done. I didn't care. And so that's when I got online and started searching and stalking the guys that I ended up having now. You know, I first found Pedro, and it took a while to get him convinced, you know. Once I convinced him, then he took another 2 years to redo the vocals. This CD is like, this is like what, the Chinese democracy is.
It's like rowing a boat.
I know, man. Just constantly giving it, giving it CPR the whole way. But yes, so, you know, and then I found the other guys, and that's the same way I found Eddie, you know, and I just started messaging him. And of course, he took time on even considering it too, you know. I mean, because it's the same shit when these guys contacted me, Steve Thompson. I'm like, who the hell is this? You know, it's some nonsense on the internet. And those guys were thinking the same thing when I contacted them, you know. But so I finally got them convinced. You know, now they're started.
Right. So you
now he's got me being a power player.
Yep, that's right.
Right. So your vocalist, the current vocalist, Pedro. So you actually, I heard that you found him through internet.
Found who?
Pedro.
Yeah. On Facebook, I had seen, you know, because he did a lot of those karaoke videos.
Yeah.
You know, him singing along to. Well, what I seen was him doing a version of "I'll Never Let You Go" by Steelheart.
Yeah, I saw that video. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is bullshit. This guy does not sing like that. I'm like, there's no way, you know, because you can sound, but I would be flawless, you know, in a video at home. I could edit it. I'm like, there's no way. So I researched, looked some more, found some live stuff, and he was doing "Everyone Loves Eileen" by Steelheart down here at Oktoberfest. And I was like, holy crap! It was perfect. It was the exact same live, and he can actually pull that stuff off. I mean, the dude has a really strong voice and a lot of discipline, which keeps his voice.
Yeah, he's definitely very disciplined about taking care of himself.
Yeah, I mean, when I was listening to his sort of these songs, he has sort of Miles Kennedy and the Steelheart guy, Steve Perry, all sort of a mix of even like little bit of Sebastian Bach, right? So it's like he's everywhere. Like
yeah, he's a big Steve Perry fanboy. I mean, that's one of his huge influences is Steve Perry. But you know, talking and the songs that we want to work on and play, he wants to do more heavier stuff. But you know, having been in a local cover band for years, they do the Journey stuff, the more stuff that they want to hear in a club, you know. But he wants to do some heavier stuff. He enjoys the stuff like the new single "Locked and Loaded." You know, so I think, well, we've been working on some new song ideas, and they're definitely going to be heavy. You know, not heavy metal. We're always going to have that.
It's hard rock. You know, melodic hard rock with an edge. You know, I like heavier. I like heavy groove. You know.
Yep.
So.
Right. I really love the Lock and Loaded. You know how you sort of incorporated the you know, how the song starts. It's very American song, right? And I really love that you guys uh, appreciate that, you know, because I think there is certain, you know, certain thing that if you appreciate America, it's like you're racist or something, that there's a certain people that sort of view. But I really believe, because I grew up, you know, watching American television, following American music. I appreciate that culture very much, you know.
Well, the reason that I had come up with it, and that was last minute, because see, Locked and Loaded was originally on the first CD, and it did the best for us on the first CD and charted
Right.
in a lot of places way back then. Well, we were one song short to get a 10-song CD done because Pedro didn't like a couple of songs, so we cut them. Well, I forgot that I'd given him the files, so he sent it back. That was once again another fluke. He's like, "Well, here you go. Here's 10. I'm done." And then so I come down here. I come down here to go into the studio to mix with Sean, and I had the intro. And you know, with all this nonsense with the COVID and this political
Yeah,
shit,
and all this
Yeah.
anti-Americanism.
we're
going on.
American, but
Yeah.
America's jacked up right now. So that's why that intro is American, and then it stops because everything's just so screwed up, and then it kicks in. You know, 'cause
Right.
you've got the air raid going with the national anthem because you just everything's so screwed up. You know, but it doesn't change the fact we're still Americans. You know, so that's never going to change whether you
Right.
like it or not. You know, so that's kind of why we did it, and that wasn't really any majorly planned thought. You know, well, I just wanted a cool intro. You know, so I threw them together.
Yeah, but that was really done nicely. That was awesome.
Right.
And you guys did like a quarantine video, right? Of What a Way to Go. It's another song that I like from what you released. It's the quarantine video. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we haven't done anything like we're supposed to, and in any order the way we're supposed to. Okay, so
We tried, but it
yeah,
backfired. Yeah.
so when we did the video for Locked and Loaded, we were doing the video for Bring It Down, which Bring It Down was the single at the time. Well, some of the footage got jacked up, so I'm like, well, we're gonna put out the single for Locked and Loaded now, you know, the videos. So that's how that
Yeah.
came about. Originally,
It was going to be What a Way to Go. It was the first one.
What a Way to
Locked
Go
and
is supposed to be the very first
Very
single.
first one, yeah.
And which is actually going to be our next real video. So nothing's in order. It's just all over the place. But you know, as long as it's done, because What a Way to Go, I have a real attachment to that song. You know, that was the first song that I wrote for this CD. You know, on a front porch during a tornado in Oklahoma. You know, so that song, especially with what was going on at the time, but it's also a positive song, you know, if you listen to the words of it. The quarantine stuff that we did What a Way to Go, and we did Bring It Down. The reason we did them was because of this COVID nonsense.
Yeah.
No one could, you know, we couldn't play. Nobody could play. So we did it, you know.
Right. Jeff, I also really love the song Give It to Me. I know it's a sort of an older song, right? That one you had it on the previous releases.
That was
Yeah.
see, once again, that was me catering to Pedro. He wanted
Right.
that as the first single.
Right.
And since he's the new guy and he's got a great voice, and like I'm kissing his ass, going, "Sure, man, let's do it." Okay, that's fine. You know, so yeah, we put that we released it on the internet, you know, first. It's a catchy song. I mean, you know, I think a lot of people are like it, or a lot of people will call it butt rock. You know, it doesn't matter to me, but I think it's a catchy song. You know, it's a real simple, you know, straight ahead rock song.
Right.
Yeah. And another song too that surprised all of us that did really well was Bring It Down.
Yeah.
I mean, that song was #1 in Germany, over in it was 3 weeks #1 on underground radio up in the East Coast. Where else did it do well?
We won Crank It Up Song of the Year.
Yeah.
Which
Right.
is why we were doing the video for Bring It Down. They got screwed up.
Right.
So we had to do having to do Locked and Loaded.
We wanted to release that video first, but it got messed up, so we had to release Lock and Loaded video.
Yeah.
So that's how things just
Yeah, there's no organizational abilities
We
with our
we
planning.
thought we were going.
Yeah, not when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Right. So so the new album is called Bottom of the Barrel, right? So are you guys going to release that? I know you already have the CDs, right? Are you going to put it also in Spotify?
No, 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 we're not.
There it is right there.
No, we've you know, the thing is, man, and you know, if you follow the industry, we're the last guys to ever make any money. You know, Spotify for Spotify plays, you know, we don't get anything ever. You know,
Right.
I've never seen a royalty check that said Spotify on it. You know, and we've got songs on Spotify, you know, the 4 or 5 from this CD. We're not releasing anymore. If anyone wants to hear the rest of the songs, we'll put a medley out, you know, but we're not releasing them. I mean, we got to make some money somehow. Plus, you know, you really want to hear the songs, buy our shit. I mean, that's the bottom of it. Instead of, because once it's out there, it's gone. We you know, it's everywhere. But it's gone to us, and it cuts off an avenue of potential income. You know, so no, we're setting on it. I mean, it's available. Anyone can order it. VoodooMoonshineRocks.com. You can order it, but we're not putting it all on Spotify.
Yeah, we have the artist card, right?
No, it's Moonshine Rocks now.
Moonshine Rocks, yeah.
Right. So
well, see, and I learned that the hard way. I mean, obviously, I pay attention to the business end of things, but I learned it even the harder way with the first CD. By getting distribution and distributors, they throw it out there, pimp it out everywhere. I didn't even know that our shit was on MTV.com. I don't know where I'm getting paid here. I don't know what, you know, where I should be getting paid. You just never know. And who BMI, who I'm with, does not have the ability or the drive, because we're not, you know, Taylor Swift, to actually follow and try to collect our money. So the easiest way for us to do that is keep it in house. You know, if it is an independent artist market, you know, buy direct, because the industries make just millions and billions off of us, and we get nothing.
right.
I was reading an article
Just
about
ask Chevelle. Yeah, Chevelle.
I read the article about Chevelle the other day. They're 10 records deep in with their record label. They've sold over 6 million and never seen a penny.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're coming in like 50 million. They got nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Yeah, even I heard that, you know, the song of Pharrell, the Happy, which was very famous song, that it was streamed so many millions of, but he got like $5,000 or something, I think he said.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's very sad, and especially Spotted. You know, there's been a federal court order to give us more royalties, and Amazon and Google or Spotify and Amazon are the only ones that are fighting. They're the only ones saying, no, we're not going to pay that.
Yeah.
And why? Who the hell are you? Those guys don't even write. They're pretty much, you know, they've created a forum for us, but, you know, for them to have the balls to say, well, if you want to make more money, put more music out and put it out on our shit, and you're still not going to get anything. So no, if the internet's a good thing, but it's a bad thing. You know, if we didn't have the internet, we wouldn't be talking to you where you're at. We wouldn't be, you know, doing interviews in Ecuador or Mexico City or Japan or England, you know, anywhere. But also, it's a huge. If one song gets out there, man, it's gone. You can expect it's going to be bootleg. You know, someone else will be selling it and laying claim to it and making money. You know, so we're just right now we're going to try to keep control of our stuff. You know.
Right. That's great. So can you tell me a little bit about what's happening? Are you planning any shows? What's going to happen in the next couple of months?
Sure, we got.
No, we don't have our list.
Well, I could tell you offhand. In May, we're doing a show. Our first show coming up is in May 14th, in Bristol, Tennessee. We're direct support with Saliva. Yeah. And then in June, we go up to Ohio. We have a festival up there. All these are like festivals and concerts and stuff.
Yeah, the one in Ohio is a 9-day festival.
Yeah.
we're direct support for our night is Texas Hippie Coalition.
Yeah.
And Every Mother's Nightmare is going to be there. That little band Liliac is going to be there.
Yeah.
Um,
Then let's see, that's in June. July we go to Muncie, Indiana, for a big bash up there, and then
yeah, we're supporting Native How,
yeah,
Native How and Framing the Red there,
and then August we're up in Metal in the Mountains in West Virginia
which
with the Bobo Flex guys.
yeah, lonely. They're called Lonely Ones now.
Lonely Ones, yeah.
But they're formerly known as Bubba Flex.
And then our management's working on stuff already, and for the fall. So they're talking some big shows down here in Florida, and we got a lot going on. We got Earth Day Birthday down here, and so in Rockville, and we're trying to get on that bill as well. So we're working on all that stuff right now.
Yeah, now that these festivals and things are opening up, so now people are starting to scramble again. And we're hoping we can stay close to the head of the game with these bands that had to cancel and then these events, and hopefully we'll get on the ticket.
And some of those bands, after a year, this didn't survive.
Right.
Yeah.
And luckily we did, because we weren't a working band. We weren't needing to play every night. We were finishing up this. Pedro was finishing up the CD, and we were, setting up house and getting business in order. So it wasn't going to destroy us, because it wasn't. Finances weren't affecting us. And a lot of bands.
They had to like quit and get jobs and stuff. Bad or starve.
Yeah. So I think the last concert I saw, because I'm here in Manila, Philippines. So the last concert I saw was March 2020. I normally go to a lot of concerts. Like I think I went to 60 plus concerts in 2019, but in 2020 I just went to 8 concerts, because there's nothing happening, and it's really sad that we cannot see any of the bands, even just the local bands. It's all bullshit, this lockdown, all this crap. I'm really happy when you guys are talking about all these festivals and concerts, so there's bit of hope, things will get better.
There is and it's certain states that are doing it, certain states aren't, so it's really becomes this political tug of war in this country, which is ridiculous, hurting the people, the musicians. So we're hoping, it's looking good though, on as far as a lot of these free states I speak of, things are starting to happen. So
right. So guys, what's your message to people you support your music and listen to your music, and also viewers of this video?
Well, obviously we appreciate in anything, that if they have interest in us, any kind words, we appreciate anything. My big word to everyone is buy direct.
Buy direct. Buy direct, yeah. And
right.
We
Don't
can
buy it anywhere else.
Yeah, come straight to the source.
That's VoodooMoonshineRocks.com.
That's all you need.
We're working on new merchandise stuff and to make it available. But obviously as things roll, we'll start putting out more, making more things available to them. But hopefully, what I want to say is, if things work out well, we'll see you soon.
Right. So guys, anybody you want to shout out to?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out to Ronnie, our manager. He's working his butt off for us, doing a great job. And Tina is our other manager, who is constantly, keeping us in line, man. And it's nice to have good management like that. They're going to bat for us, man. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, because we're busy trying to do other things, So sometimes the business can be a distraction from the music, and having this great team management going on really, really is a big plus for us.
Right. So Jeff, Eddie, I really glad that we had this conversation. I really appreciate your style of like straightforward rock and roll, music. I'm a big fan of that sort of music, and I'm looking forward to listening more to that. And good luck to you. And with all your shows, and looking forward to new music. Stay safe.
Yeah, thank you.
Stay rock and roll.
We'd love to get down there and entertain the people.
Yeah, well, you let us know when this comes out, and we'll share it, and we will check it out, man. We appreciate you.
Right. Lastly, tell everyone how they can follow you and how they can buy your music.
VoodooMoonshineRocks.com.
VoodooMoonshineRocks.com.
VoodooMoonshine.com.
Rocks, rocks, plural, rocks.
Rocks. And then of course,
Rocks.com.
the typical, the Facebooks, the YouTubes, Twitter, Instagram. Just type in Voodoo Moonshine, but our main website is VoodooMoonshineRocks.com.
Yeah, that takes you everywhere.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Keep rocking.
Thank you.
All right.